Well, it was a big day in Cooperstown, New York, actually somewhat hometown of my father, as Tom Gage was there for a very special reason. The guy has been all over baseball writing since he was a young guy growing up in Grosse Pointe. Brad Galley had a chance to catch up with him and share his very unique and trialsome story.
Bring Tom Gage to a baseball field, and he can't help himself. He just starts telling stories.
That's where the good humor truck would show up after the games, and win or lose, we would always line up there.
Like so many of us do in Detroit, Gage grew up a Tigers fan. This Grosse Pointe ballpark is where his baseball memories begin.
I played right there, left-handed third baseman.
Since the very beginning, he's written stories about each and every one of them.
Of course, everybody wants to be a baseball player back then, but I soon realized I wasn't going to be and went into baseball writing. I ended up with a job that I was destined to have.
After 36 years as the Tigers beat writer for the Detroit News, his peers have honored him with the highest award. This weekend, he's entering the Baseball Hall of Fame.
The venerable Tom Gage. Tom Gage, the Hall of Fame writer.
It's been an honor to write for people. I was overwhelmed by this honor and always will be.
Yes, he's a Hall of Famer, but he enters Cooperstown without a job for the first time in 45 years. The Detroit News decided to go in a different direction and took him off the baseball beat before the season began. It created a bit of a frenzy in this baseball-loving town.
I think Tom Gage got a real raw deal in the situation with the Detroit News. I thought it was really, really classless of them. This is a Hall of Fame writer, a guy that deserves so much better, and is a terrific, terrific writer. It's a real shame because he's awesome.
In the spring, a new beginning. Tom was hired on to write for Fox Sports Detroit's website. Brad Ausmus toasted the Hall of Famer's return to the clubhouse.
All of a sudden, what I hoped would last for years lasted for months.
The company slashed all of its local online writers across the country. People in your situation could be frowning, they could be pouting, they could be stomping.
I have my moments of doing that.
Do you?
Yeah, but you know what? I also look and at 45 years ago, and that's when I got into journalism. And if somebody had said, you're going to have 45 years of uninterrupted employment, I would said, okay, give it to me right now.
Tom has his speech ready. It will no doubt include tidbits about his wife and family, and of course, all those great moments. Gibby, Maglio, all the big hits, all the big games, all the celebrations. And at 67, Tom Gage isn't slowing down. There are more stories to be told.
I got to tell you one story, because my niece's 6-year-old daughter, Jenny, the other night said to her mom, "Mom, I know where I want to move. I know where I want to live." And she said, "Where's that, Jenny?" And she said, "I want to live in Cooperstown, New York." My niece, Wendy, said, "Well, why is that?" "Well, because Uncle Tom is going into the Hall of Fame, and when everybody leaves, he's going to be lonely there."
Oh, no.
She thinks I have to stay there and that I'm going to be locked in.
Ah, poor guy. What a cute story.
He might want to stay there after the week they gave him this week, right?
Oh,
after all the love they showed him out there.
I believe you can see his induction speech. I know there's a lot of Detroit writers that have written about it in the newspaper today and tomorrow that you'll be able to catch up and recap his experience. But every time I've interacted with Tom, it's been nothing but you just learn. He has an aura about them. There's certain journalists that have auras about them, guys that you get to interact with, and you're like, wow, he knows his stuff.
I certainly didn't know him well, other than a few casual conversations at the Tigers game that I've covered. But look, everybody respects him and the job that he did over the years covering the Tigers. He's had a long and distinguished career, and you know it's great to see him get inducted into to Cooperstown.
Yeah, I think that he also told Brad that if somebody, don't feel bad for me because I don't have a job right now. If someone would have told me when I first started I'd have 45 years of uninterrupted employment, sign me up. I think we all can agree in this business.
No doubt.
If you can get that kind of success for that type of longevity, you'll take it.
Hey, I don't know what I have no idea what went down, you know, with the job situation over there with the News. But you're right, 67 to make it to that point in your career and to be as distinguished as he was and do the things that he did, that's a fine career.
I asked Tom to come on the 7 Sports Cave, and he said very politely, "I'm just not a TV guy." Can't blame him for that. All right, we've got our final thoughts. 2 very good ones coming up right here on the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave. Stay with us.